obviously the fight between Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder has been called off because Tyson Fury has apparently contracted COVID-19. Now, I'm not going to make any statements that's going to that's going to actually go against his claims of having COVID-19. One thing I will say is I've noticed one thing with Tyson Fury in particular fights where he's won a fight, when it comes to rematching that same opponent where he's in a power position, I feel like psychologically he doesn't like being in that position where he's got something that the opponent wants. So just to give an example, when he beat Vladimir Klitschko for all of the titles, and then the rematch was contracted and he had all the titles and he's about to fight Klitschko, and Klitschko was coming to take back all of his titles, for whatever reason Tyson Fury obviously dropped out of that particular rematch. Now a similar thing has happened now with the Deontay Wilder fight, where he's obviously got Deontay Wilder's titles, and now Deontay Wilder's coming back for revenge, and it seems like he's taken time off now to obviously because of COVID. Now my opinion is that Tyson Fury is one of them fighters that competes at his best when he feels like he's got a point to prove. Psychologically he needs to feel like he's the underdog and he's going in there in the lion's den and he's about to take the title off the champion. But when he's a defending champion, he's defending his title against the fighter that's trying to take it off him, he doesn't psychologically seem to be as motivated, and it's harder for him to motivate himself. If you look at the build up to the Tyson Fury versus Deontay Wilder fight, the third one, he doesn't look as in good shape as he was for his previous fights. Now obviously, like with Tyson Fury, it's a little bit deceptive, because for the second fight between him versus Deontay Wilder, he came in heavier than usual, and a lot of people were casting aspersions saying, okay, if he's coming in this heavy, how the hell is he going to move around, and how the hell is he going to outbox Deontay Wilder? But the ironic thing is, it worked in his advantage, because he took that heavier weight and he put it on Deontay Wilder, and he managed to actually stop him in the fight. So in my opinion, I'm not saying that his COVID, he probably, maybe he did catch COVID-19 or whatever he caught, but my opinion is that the way he's psychologically wired, he doesn't like being in a position where he's the one that's being hunted. He likes being the hunter. He likes being the guy that's going to take the champion's title off him in his own backyard. I mean, he done it against Vladimir Klitschko, but then when the boot was on the other foot and Vladimir Klitschko was coming back to take his titles off him or to fight him in a rematch, he didn't want to fight him. And the second thing has happened now with the Deontay Wilder fight. Obviously he took the titles off Deontay Wilder, but now Deontay Wilder obviously wants a second crack at trying to get the titles back off him, and we saw what happened. He doesn't want that particular fight, obviously. So in my opinion, I think his mentality could work against him. Let's just say hypothetically the undisputed fight happens. A lot of people thinks that Tyson Fury is going to easily mop the floor with Anthony Joshua, just because obviously Anthony Joshua has shown vulnerability in the past. He got rocked by Dillian White. He obviously lost at Andy Ruiz, but he did get the titles back again. But Tyson Fury, although he's shown vulnerability in the past, like getting dropped by Steve Cunningham, he has won bigger fights than Anthony Joshua has. I mean, he's beaten the likes of Wilder, he's beaten the likes of Vladimir Klitschko. So a lot of the British public and the boxing fans in general think he's going to wipe the floor with Anthony Joshua. The problem with that is that it doesn't really feed into the mentality that Tyson Fury needs to perform at his best. I think in his own mind, if he was going in the fight against Anthony Joshua as a underdog, and he felt like he was going to lose that particular, like the whole public thought that he was going to lose that particular fight, then that would actually be the right mentality for him to go in. He needs to go in as an underdog for him to perform at his best. He needs to feel like the whole world is against him, and like he needs to be at his absolutely peak performance for him to perform. And that's the way he is as a human being. He's someone, he needs to feel like the odds are against him for him to actually perform at his best. The problem is he's actually an odds-on favourite to beat Anthony Joshua in their undisputed fight when the original fight was about to be signed, and that's a bit of a problem because obviously, like I said before, he's somebody who likes to be the hunter, not the hunted. And obviously, like Anthony Joshua at this point in time, he's been very quiet in terms of his training camp when it came to Tyson Fury. So with that mentality in mind, he's probably training harder than ever, while Tyson Fury, because he feels like it's a sure gone conclusion that he's going to beat Anthony Joshua, he's probably not training as hard. So obviously it's obviously a difference in mentality between the two. I feel like Anthony Joshua is more of a consistent fighter than a Tyson Fury in terms of his mentality. He's more likely to be professional, while a Tyson Fury is more unpredictable and is more likely to give bad performances against the likes of an Otto Wallin when he feels like it's likely that he's going to win the fight. But when he's in a fight against a fighter where he's seen as the underdog, that's when he usually performs. So it's going to be interesting to see how that actually affects him. Obviously, with this fight being pushed back further because of him contracting COVID, the undisputed fight is going to take longer to happen because Anthony Joshua needs to get past Usyk, and I don't think that's going to be an easy task for him whatsoever. I don't think he's going to find it easy to get past Usyk, because Usyk is a slick operator. I mean, this guy is a top, probably one of the best technical heavyweights in the planet right now. In terms of his technical ability, I think he's up there with a Tyson Fury in terms of his ability. So yeah, in my opinion, that's what I think is happening at this point in time. Maybe he needed just to take some time off, just so that he could train and get rid of the extra weight that he's put on. So yeah, tell me what you think below. What do you think about the mentality of Tyson Fury? Do you think he's a fighter that rises to the occasion when he feels like he's an underdog, or do you think what I'm saying is just nonsense and he's going to perform regardless of him being an underdog or being a favourite to win a fight? He's going to perform regardless. He's not a fighter that needs to feel like the odds are against him for him to perform at his best. Tell me what you think below, and like and subscribe to the channel. I've got a lot more content coming your way. Peace out.